And welcome everybody to Gabbin with Oof episode 31 live on the YouTube channel. And as you can see, tonight's episode, besides the fact that we're live on primetime here, I am not alone. I have two of my brothers from different mothers with me. First off, we got JJ on my upper left side. JJ, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good, man. I was very intrigued by the topic you had at hand today. As a man who used to review movies here on my own channel, I feel like there's a lot that I want to dissect and get into here. So I had to come in and pop in for this one. So thank you for having me.
No problem. It is my honor. And of course, the handsome devil himself, who, yes, I do not mind seeing Mean Gino show up today. Papa Gino over there. Gino, what's going on, my bro? How you been?
I've been good. As you guys know, I just got back from one of the longest Chipotle lines I've ever seen in my entire life. It was BOGO if you wore school swag. And obviously I work at a school, so had to take advantage of that. Got a bunch of food, pounded it, and we're ready to pound this topic.
All right, cool. Yeah, so again, for those watching live or on demand, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button with the notification bell so you get all other videos in. Again, thank you to all who have watched my videos before. And again, the Power Rangers trilogy has great numbers. And also thank you for those who've seen the NWO trilogy as well. I was blown away that the numbers just keep slowly increasing, but hey, I am thankful for whatever views I can get. So yes, so for tonight's topic is a good one that the three of us are all big fans of. And again, I want to see those sleeves be rolled up by Gino. So, because I know when Papa Gino rants, we all sit down, we get relaxed, and he goes off of it. But so the topic for tonight, so movie trailers. So I bring this up because the new one that's out right now, of course, we're all getting excited for Avengers Doomsday. They released the first teaser trailer, but didn't think if it was real or fake with Captain his baby. We don't know about that. So the question was it real? Was it not? Then it was real. It was ripped from the internet and all that. Then the official trailer for Doomsday came out. We all lost our brains. And then at D3 a couple days ago, they released a Dr. Doom trailer. So the question for you fine gentlemen and people in the chat as well, to gab it about in the comments and all that. So the question is, not only now, but through history, movie trailers, are they good teases? TMI, do they give enough? Do they give too much? Do they give too little? I'll start this off because I really want to know what you guys think about this. So I'll begin this one. I think as time has gone on, showing my age, when trailers back in like the late 80s, early 90s, when Gino was just a twinkle in his parents' eye. Back in the day, they would just usually show a quick 10, 15-second trailer and boom, they would end. And that's the only one they would show. If you caught it on television, all right, that would hype you up for it. But then as time went on, and then, of course, the introduction of the intranet, we have now YouTube, we have other sources, and then the trailers started to get, leaked, and then the other trailers were shown. Nowadays, different markets have different trailers as well. So, for instance, the movie that just came out, Spider-Man Brand New Day, here in America, we got trailers. But again, I saw on YouTube, I saw the Japan trailer that was a complete 180 from the one we got. So is it coming to a point where we can put all the markets trailers together and basically see the movie? There's that old saying, never judge a movie by its trailer, which I believe is true. However, the trailer is, in my opinion, supposed to hype you up for the movie itself. So there you go. Papa Gino came into the world in 1990. I was 9 years old. Moving on. So the thing with trailers, I know they're supposed to hype you
14.
up. All right, and JJ was 14. There we go. Wow, Gino, you are young. Anyway, moving on. So the thing is, I love trailers. I get excited when I go to the theater. I make sure, yes, nowadays they tell you the movie starts at this time, but I get excited because I want to see the trailers for the upcoming movies. Maybe sometimes when we went to go see Spider-Man there. We saw a couple trailers for ones that I've seen. When I went to go see Michael 3 times, I think I saw the same trailers the 3 times. That's okay. It's supposed to hype you up, get you excited. But again, I think sometimes they show too much, a little too much. But one thing that really charges my iPod is that I don't like the fact that different markets get different trailers. So like I said, if I piece some together, I maybe saw 25% in the movie. So it may ruin the experience, but especially when it comes to the big blockbusters like Doomsday, like I've seen these 2 trailers. Maybe I'll be good with one more. However, it is, as of this live event, it's August 20th. That movie doesn't come out till December. So hopefully Marvel will put the kibosh on more trailers or just extended trailers and all that. Because we still have September, October, November. We have 4 months to go till Doomsday. And I'm feeling like back with Infinity War and with Endgame, this excitement is back. Again, I saw Spider-Man Brand New Day, hype me up. Finally saw Thunderbolts the other day, so I'm really getting into it. I'm looking forward to December, but I'm not going to lie to both of you fine gentlemen that in the back of my mind, it's like, all right, I think I'm good with teases. I think I'm good with trailers. I think I'm good with things that I, again, want to be teased with. But like I said, it's only August. Will will Marvel and Disney slow it down? Will I not fall into temptation and want to see more? Right now, I'm satisfied with the 2 trailers that they put out there. But overall, that's my thing. The only pet peeve I have is different markets with different trailers. And some trailers are longer than others, and it could ruin it, but I think that's on the individual. That's just my opinion, that it depends if you get too hyped into it or you want to see more, and then might as well just like put the trailers together and see it there and be like, oh, I'll wait till streaming. No, I want that feeling to get back into everybody of like going to the theater. Like Gina and I discussed a while back, and a couple episodes back, about the whole Paramount buying Warner Brothers or whoever was buying Warner Brothers. Now that deal is in the air. Maybe that's a future episode, Gino. I don't know. We'll talk about that at another time. So that's my opinion. I think trailers do a good enough job, but I hope the studios aren't sitting there going like, let's keep teasing them or let's keep showing them more. And like I said, especially when it comes to these blockbusters, and I'll throw Doomsday in there because right now that is the big, in my eyes, in this comic book nerd's eyes, that's the next big one I'm excited for. So like I said, only in August. And so I hope it doesn't ruin it for me come December. I'll be like, oh yeah, I saw that already. Oh yeah. So like, again, another movie real fast, once the Michael trailer dropped, I was just sitting there. I just wanted to hear Jafar's voice as Michael. And my jaw hit the ground when we heard him speak as Michael for the first time. And then once I saw the movie, I could not believe the phenomenal job that Jafar did. If he does not get nominated for an Academy Award or a Golden Globe, I will raise hell. But because he deserves it, I think, just my opinion. So again, trailers, they do their job on me. They get me hyped up. But sometimes, like I said, they probably show a little too much. Or like I said, when due to the internet, you discover other trailers in other markets. So it's like, wait, how come we didn't get one? I just wish the studios would be like, all right, these are like the 2 trailers we're going to release everywhere, worldwide, not Japan gets one, America gets one, South America gets one. That just drives me up the wall because then, like I said, you'll see one thing in one trailer, not in the other, and then you kind of can piece it together, and it may ruin people's experience. It doesn't ruin mine, but it may ruin it to those. So that is my gabbing on it. So I'm going to pass the baton over to JJ. JJ, your awesome opinion. First of all, love the background. It looks like I want to rent like 3 movies right now. And I do have my Blockbuster card somewhere in a box in here, or I think it's at my mom's attic's house. So JJ, you got the floor. Your opinion, movie trailers, good teases, TMI, too much, too little, just fine. What say you, brother?
I think it's an interesting balance of all the above. You know, at the end of the day, and I feel like this topic brilliantly, whether planned or not planned, ties back to what we were talking about with Gino on his show yesterday, an advertisement. You know, the trailer is supposed to be designed to draw me into the theater. Whether it's the 30-second TV spot or the 1.5-minute, 2-minute full-length trailer that you get before whatever movie you're going to the multiplex to see. If you can't sell me on your movie in that amount of time, why am I going to drop my 10, 12, $15? Plus, when you start adding in the drinks and the snacks and the popcorn and, you know, double it if you're on a date, triple it or quadruple it if you're taking your family with you. You got kids or whatnot, you know? So I feel like you almost have to give a lot away in order to grab people and hook them to want to spend the money at a later date when the movie drops. But to your point, you run the risk of giving too much away. And then they go in, they drop the $15, they sit through the 90 minutes, like, well, shit, I saw all the best parts 3.5 months ago when I saw the trailer. I already kind of knew what the movie was about based off of that. They showed me all the best shit. Maybe I got 1 or 2 additional scenes that weren't in the trailer that were funny or scary if we're going to see a horror movie or whatever, but like, I didn't really get that much different. So you do run that risk there. When it comes to different trailers in different markets, I feel like that's a ploy to target those audiences. You know, and let's use this as an example. I know he doesn't have the most extensive and successful like film career, more of a TV icon, but David Hasselhoff, right? Huge in like Germany.
Germans love David Hasselhoff.
But his film career, like, he's known more for playing himself, for cameo type pop-ups. So if you're showing a trailer for Click where he plays Adam Sandler's boss in Germany, you're going to play out Hoff's scenes because you want to get the German crowd to come and see this movie with David Hasselhoff. You know, Ted, Dodgeball, some of these other movies where he's just a cameo and he plays himself. You're going to play up his scenes in the trailer because, man, that is the god David Hasselhoff. I want everybody, East Germany, West Germany, Germany, now that the wall fell all those years ago, I want all of them in the multiplex to see the god David Hasselhoff. You know? So I feel like that's why a lot of times there's different trailers for different markets, is to play up to things like that.
That's fair. Okay, cool. All right, yeah, and yeah, that could work. Yeah, you use like David. If David Hasselhoff in the movie, maybe you show the little parts of him there in Germany. If a certain someone is from somewhere, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
you make their part essentially seem bigger than what it is, right? Because you want to get their fans into the theater. Those fans may leave disappointed because they had a 5-minute role, 2 or 3 scenes in a 90-minute movie, but you still captured their $15.
Right, that's true. Yeah, looking at it that way, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, you use it to your advantage. Business, like you said, it's all like we spoke about yesterday on Gino's show. It's all about the business, it's all about the dollar. And yeah, you aim the target area for a target audience to hook them in and all that. So absolutely true. Yeah, thank you, JJ. All right. The handsome devil himself, Gino. You know, we discuss movies a lot. You own like 95% stock in Paramount, I think you said, or Warner Brothers. I forgot which one it is. So, sir, I ask you then about the movie trailers. What do you see of them good? Do you see of them bad? And is there like kind of like what we speak about when we talk about wrestling? Can there be a middle ground when it comes to the movie trailers itself? What say you, kind sir?
Thank you very much. As the kids would say, I'm about to cook with this one, guys. First things first, I own...
Kitchen is all yours.
I had 100 shares of stock in Warner Brothers Discovery right when they hired James Gunn and Peter Safran to co-run DC Studios side of things. Once Paramount started wishy-washiness with it, I sold half my stock because there's a lot of smarter people than me were selling, and they don't think the deal is going to go through, but that's a story for another day. So I still have 50 shares, but I got out at 28 when I got in at 12. I mean, I was, you know, it's not a whole lot of money, but, you know, it was, I bet on some guys that I trusted, and that worked. Second thing about what Dave said, or not Dave, sorry, what JJ said specifically about Dodgeball. If you went into that movie and then somehow left disappointed just because of the lack of Hasselhoff, like, I don't know if you deserve happiness, because that is one of the funniest movies, best times watching a movie that you could ever have. Like,
I agree.
Getting them in the door, and if they didn't enjoy it, it's all subjective, whatever. But come on, easily one of the top 10 comedies of all time at me. Okay, now to bring it right back into the topic here. I didn't come in like preparing stuff to say, but as you guys were talking, I decided to jot down some things so I don't lose them. First things first, with regards to trailers, we've seen bad trailers for great movies and vice versa, right? If you look at Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat, blah, 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 whatever they ended up calling that, which the book that it was based on, or the comic book it was based on, was called All You Need Is Kill. And that was an amazing title. So, but it's all, titles are just marketing, as are the trailers. It's all just a piece of marketing designed to get you in the door. We've seen great trailers for movies that turned out to be duds, and that can be frustrating to people. But at the end of the day, a trailer company isn't the people making the movie. So some of these things I'm about to say and complain about, I do it understanding that the movie company, the Marvels, whatever, they don't necessarily tell the people what scenes are going to make the final cuts and stuff. So when you have things like Avengers Endgame, where you've got, or Infinity War rather, when you've got full Savage Hulk running alongside the Wakandans, all towards the camera with Scarlet Witch and Captain America and all that stuff, and that scene is just nowhere to be found. That character Hulk is nowhere to be found in that movie. That one definitely set up an example for me that wasn't fair, and the trailer didn't make that scene. That scene
Right.
was allowed to have been used, and so that type of stuff disappoints me. There are levels to this, right? Blockbuster movies, smaller movies, art house movies, things like horror movies or animated movies, whatever. Everything like JJ was alluding to, they have a target audience for this, right? Big blockbusters, they spend a lot of money, and they spend a lot of money on marketing, so they need people to get as many butts in the seats as possible. Now, Avengers stuff, I didn't watch that first Avengers Doomsday trailer until like a month later. I already know I'm going to see the movie. So theoretically, it can only bring my hype level down. It can only disappoint me because I'm already super stoked for it, and I'm already going to have a blast going to see it. Like I'm going to be there opening night. Doesn't matter. So if anything, the trailer could only upset me. Decided to watch it, and there is some of that stuff in there that I would have probably liked to have seen for the first time while I'm watching the movie. Now, when you have smaller movies like things that I've never heard of, the movies that you see, the trailers that you're seeing before Michael and before certain movies, especially with the horror stuff, like it has to give me a reason to acknowledge its existence and want to go see it. So with that regard, trailers have to, and there's also levels to the types of trailers that come out. You've got your teaser, which is like a 30-second, 20-second, just this movie exists, whatever. And then you got your first actual trailer. And that's like, you're starting to get a little bit of the story and still getting like what to expect. And then you've got that second full trailer, which is like, here's what this movie's about. You either want to see it or you don't type of thing. We might throw some little hooks. What I hate about modern trailers is when they build them for TikTok and then give them to us in like the movie theater environment. You got like the first 5 seconds, boom, 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 boom. Trailer starts now. It's like, that's so clearly a marketing department making one version of a trailer and then using it everywhere when that works for TikTok and YouTube and whatever. Like, but when I don't need to know what trailer I'm about to see for the movie. Just show me the trailer. I'm like, especially when I'm at the movies, like I'm going to be watching whatever you're showing me, because that's, unless you're somebody that's on their phone during the trailers, which is, I know the lights aren't down, but Come on, I find that wicked disrespectful.
No, a lot of people still on their phones during the trailers, and it's a little pain in the butt. But welcome to life.
And that worries me going into a movie because I'm like, are they gonna not put their phone down when the movie starts? Because nothing infuriates me more than somebody being on their phone, especially since you have to turn the brightness up to scan the QR code to get into so the brightness is all the way up, and ridiculous. So I was talking about trailers need to increase your hype level. Like that's the job of a trailer, is to take you from wherever your excitement level is and raise it. The problem is that sometimes it can lower it. Now, I don't want to confuse that with letting your speculation become expectation where, oh, Deadpool and Wolverine, I was expecting John Wick and Batman and all this stuff. Like, no, like, let's be real, people. Let's be real. Now, with that, and the problems that you were talking about with spoilers or showing too much, right? Everybody's definition of a spoiler is different. Literally, I bet all three of our definitions of spoilers are different. For me, I don't really, if I'm going to see a movie, I don't want to know anything else about it. What I already know when I decide I want to see it is enough for me, which is why I didn't watch the Doomsday trailer. But I have had more fun watching Marvel movies after watching the trailers and things like that. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to watch the trailer, see what it's about, just so I can be part of the conversation. The problem with Doomsday is it's been in the can for like 6 months to a year already. It was supposed to have already been released. And so it was supposed to come out before Spider-Man. So my problem is that actual full story beat spoilers are probably going to make it online well before the movie comes out. And I got to be weary of that. JJ mentioned it's marketing. That's what it is. And with Avengers Endgame, people were like, you don't even need to have any marketing. You don't need to have any trailers. People are going to see this movie. Wrong, because they spent more money marketing that movie than any studio has marketed a movie in history. And the box office results replied in kind. It would have made that much money even if you didn't market. Bullcrap. My mom, people's grandma, people aren't just going to go because it exists. They need to be seeing it everywhere. Like this movie at the end of Oak Street. I would have seen one trailer and been like, whatever. But I'm seeing the studio put their full confidence behind it by releasing a bunch of trailers, putting it everywhere. I'm like, they believe in it, so I should believe in it. I'm going to pause here and let JJ touch on that before I continue with my thing.
Yeah, JJ, go ahead.
I just want to jump in there because I feel like people would have seen Endgame even without a trailer.
We would have, for sure.
Yeah.
And we would have, and I just want to paraphrase this by saying, I'm not a comic geek. So I don't know what happened in the comic books when this.
Oh, neither do I. Neither do I. I'm with you there.
Right. I do. That's what I'm saying, though, is like, because you've got the people that go to see the Marvel movies, the DC movies, because they're diehard comic geeks. And then you got the guys that are more like us that are just into like good action movies or a cheesy popcorn flick.
Or the character, just the character itself.
Having already been through the ride of the MCU up to that point, I didn't need a trailer for Endgame. I was going to see it regardless.
Did you watch the trailers, though?
I did.
Okay.
But I'm willing to bet you that 90% of the people that went and saw Endgame had already been on the ride. Maybe 10% were people that got drugged there by friends like, dude, this is going to be an epic moment. You have to witness this.
Yeah.
So I feel like a movie like Endgame, you probably didn't need the mass marketing campaign. Likewise, The Rise of Skywalker. Granted, we got the movies all out of order. Say what you want about the movie personally, Gino, and granted, we got the movies all out of order, but by the time we get to Rise of Skywalker, you've already got movies 1 through 8 in the ether. You really don't need a trailer for part 9 at this point. Like, you're going to go to see Rise of Skywalker because you're invested in the Star Wars lore and you want to see how this saga finally ends.
So
90% of the people that walked into Rise of Skywalker are diehard nerds for Star Wars. They've probably seen Solo, they've seen Rogue One, they've maybe watched the Ewok movies from the 80s, you know, the Star Wars holiday special.
I was gonna say the Christmas
does
special
exist on YouTube in its entirety, and I make a point to watch it every year because I'm that big of a Star Wars geek. I'm a glutton for punishment.
That's commitment.
But I mean, the people that walked into Rise of Skywalker were there for the ride, whether they loved Jar Jar or they hated him, or they like that
Jar Jar.
Han shot first, or they Greedo think because Greedo shot first, or they like how fucking emo Kylo Ren is, or whatever their takes on the franchises. They still walked into Part 9, threw down their $15 because they wanted to see how it was going to end. And they didn't need a trailer to rope them in. They were going to go regardless. So in instances like that, I feel like you don't really need it. I gotta go on the counter argument with you there, Gino. But I'd say 99% of trailers and movies out there, you do need a trailer.
Sure. So to touch on that point, right? Even if 10% of people went to Endgame, weren't on that ride already, and were brought there because they saw something in the trailer that they liked, or whatever the case is, it made over $2 billion. So 10% of that would be still hundreds of millions of dollars added into their pocket for that. Now, to compare Endgame to Rise of Skywalker, that's frustrating to even want to do, but they were both coming off of Infinity War was a great movie, but it had a downer ending. There were kids crying their eyes out leaving that theater to the point where I wanted to be like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
There's another one after. There's another one coming. Yeah.
Right. But what had happened at the end of that one was like, holy cow. But with Last Jedi, that was one of the most divisive movies in the history of any fandom ever. And they needed to get fans back on board with Star Wars again because a lot of them had jumped off. Leia floating through space. You know what, guys? There's going to be spoilers for movies that are over 6 years old. I'm so sorry. But Leia floating through space and all of those types of things. And Luke just throwing the lightsaber over his shoulder, suckling on the teat of one of these animals, like milk dripping down his beard. Like that was upsetting people. I don't get on board with the people that were upset that Rey exists because, oh, she's a girl, blah, blah, blah. Like, miss me with that argument. Miss me with that all day. But you needed to get people back on board that this is going to be something that you're going to want to see, because I remember that discourse, as you guys do, and it was vitriolic hate for Rian Johnson should never make a movie again, even though he's a fantastic director, made the Knives Out things, which are the third one is kind of doo-doo, but the first two were fantastic. And he was some of the best episodes of Breaking Bad. But I digress. I do understand the argument. Oh, you probably could have not needed a trailer, but they still want people to get hyped. They still have to let you know when the movie's coming out, because we know when it's coming out. It's marked on our calendars. As soon as the tickets go on sale, which they are for Avengers Doomsday, we got our tickets. We know when we're going, like all that stuff. But there are people that it does work for. And so in that regard, we're in, like you had mentioned, and Uthman had mentioned, oh, there's different trailers for different geographical locations and things like that. And they all eventually end up online. So they're targeted to certain people, but we can see them if we want. We can avoid them if we want, especially when they have different scenes, like what the Chinese market might be into. What is definitely not going to be what the American market is into, but you've got the things trying to draw people in. And at the end of the day, that's the business of it, avatars, things like that. Like when I saw the Fire Nation come in the third Avatar, like if I didn't follow along with the production of the movie, like I wouldn't have known that unless I saw the trailer. And I'm like, that's a really cool aspect, even though it turned out to be all about water again, which brings me to another point, is what really grinds my gears is when trailers show stuff for a movie that isn't in the movie.
Yeah, I
again,
agree.
I get it, because the trailer company works with the scenes that they're given and tries to build its own little story to try and get you in the door. And we talked about spoilers being different. Now, one thing that my least favorite thing about trailers, and this is what I will agree that when they show too much, is when they show something that is freaking meant to be a surprise and a shock within the context of the movie. For example, Captain America 4 with Sam Wilson and the Red Hulk. I get why they had to show Red Hulk, because nobody was going to go see that movie at all. But Red Hulk was treated as a complete surprise within the context of the movie, but we all knew it was coming because it was in the marketing. So you're like, oh, it's obviously building towards that, and they probably could have redesigned the movie to the point where they didn't have to crescendo there. And that really, really upset me, because it's like I would have loved to have enjoyed this without knowing that. But again, I get it. You had to get people in the door for that movie, even though it's a Marvel movie, even though it's got Captain America. It's not really Captain America, but you know what I'm talking about. It's got the name.
The second one, yeah.
Yeah. And all of those things, like if there's a few other instances, I can't remember off the top of my head, but like there's something like the movie builds to it and like crescendos to this big reveal, but like we found out about it 6 months ago in the trailer. Like, so it's not a surprise. Like, I get it now. 20 years, 30 years from now, somebody puts on the movie. It's going to be a surprise to them because they're not watching the trailer before going in. But like, I take wicked offense to that. We talked about the multiple trailers and things like movies I've never heard of. But at the end of the day, we kind of do need to know what a movie is about.
No, of course,
Relatively speaking. Like, we knew Doom is coming in Doomsday because they have revealed Robert Downey Jr. Some people might even say that's a spoiler. I think that's ridiculous, but we need to know kind of what is his motivation. You have the first trailer and Thor's talking about, I fought this guy, all these people. And this guy terrifies me more than anyone else. Like, that lets you know that this threat is massive. Now in the comics, and I really hope they do this in the movie, so cover your ears for 3 seconds if you think this is going to be a spoiler, but Doom approaches Thanos, our big bad, from the Marvel Universe, the biggest bad. He approaches Thanos, and Thanos has the gauntlet, and he's talking all this shit to Doom, and Doom just reaches right through his chest, grabs his spine, and rips it out of his head, or out of his body. Like, you want to show Doom as a colossal threat? You start your movie that way. Because even though this Thanos is gone or whatever, it wouldn't be our Thanos, because we didn't even have our Thanos until after, we only had him for like the first 30 seconds of Avengers Endgame, because that's our Thanos. This is previous Thanos, who has no relation to the Avengers, but we got to fight him. He's just a normal big bad guy, which is one of my problems with Avengers Endgame. But at the end of the day, it's up to us whether we want to watch the trailers or not. It's up to us. We can't control what's in him. We can't control what they're going to decide to show us. Hopefully, Marvel isn't giving these trailer companies the big scenes. Avengers Endgame didn't have anything after Portals in their marketing, and I still watch that scene and get friggin' chills from my head to my toes. It's fantastic. And then you have things like Rise of Skywalker, where you see Rey and Kylo fighting on top of that thing and the snowy atmosphere, and the snow is like hitting even in Force Awakens, the snow's hitting his weird lightsaber. Oh, that's a weird lightsaber. Everybody's like, that's not my lightsaber, not my granddaddy's lightsaber.
Hashtag not my lightsaber.
Right. And then you go into the movie and you see it's because he's working with a broken kyber crystal. He's doing you get these talking points and you get all these things, but at the end of the day, can they reveal too much in a trailer? Yeah. Like JJ said, are some movies giving you basically every joke, especially with comedies? Do they put all the funny things into the trailer? And sometimes they do. But movies like The Naked Gun, like you could put as many jokes as you want in the trailer. They play better in the context of the movie based on what's been going on, right? Yeah. Like when he's talking about his wife. Oh, how did she pass? Oh, had an arm like a cannon. She could have played for the Saints or whatever. It's like, that's hilarious stuff. Like, and all of these types of things. But at the end of the day, I do get where everybody's coming from. Oh, you don't need a trailer. But if I'm a marketing department, I'm making trailers and I'm going to try to make them the best they are. I go back to Live, Die, Repeat. this is not the end. One of the worst trailers to a movie I've ever seen in my life, and that movie is outstanding. It almost stopped me. I didn't see it in the theater. I think I waited till it comes, and that's where a trailer becomes bad, in my opinion. Spoilers or not spoilers withstanding. If you watch it and then your excitement level goes down, that can't happen.
Well, that's a good segue to what next question would be. What defines a big movie moment? Like, I lost my shizzle in the Doomsday trailer. Back to that one real fast. When you see Thor in the air with the axe and Doom stops it with his two fingers, it's like, whoa, number one. Like, holy crap! Even Thanos, when Thor threw his axe, it hit him at least. Here, Doomsday stopped it with his finger. So, was that a TMI moment, or that's the thing? What defines a moment not to spoil? So again,
I would bet that's in the beginning of the movie. Usually, Marvel doesn't show much more than the first act of the movie. And I mentioned that Thanos scene. This is probably the scene that they're going to use to establish Doom as a threat, having him go one-on-one with Thor and manhandle him, just like Thanos did with Hulk in Infinity War. Like, we had never seen Hulk even cower, and he's cowering in fear, getting his ass hand-to-hand combat beat without any of the stones. I mean, he had stones, but he didn't even use them. It was just like, all right, let me just UFC you down. And it's like, okay, this is a guy we have to take seriously. So, like, I do believe that might be one of the earlier things to establish that, which we don't know. If it's one of the final scenes of the movie, it's like, okay, well, I don't know. But like Men in Black, where they shot the thing down and it crashed, like that's a spoiler. That's the end of the movie. Like, you're stopping the ship from getting away. And that's like the first time ever I remember like a true trailer spoiler, but they did that to get people in the door. And Men in Black was a great movie, even without that.
And on top of that, they put that specific scene in the movie and the trailer in the music video that came out before the movie as well. So it's like, did I just catch was that it? And then you see the movie, you're like, oh, that was a pretty big deal. So like, we didn't see any Avenger deaths in the trailer. So I think for the most part, the MCU has been pretty good with their trailers, not giving out too much information. I liked how at the end of Cap 1, the first Avenger, they put the official trailer of the Avengers in there. That was cool. It thought showing my age back when Back to the Future Part 2 debuted. Well, they made Part 2 and 3 together. So at the end of Back to the Future Part 2, you got a full-blown trailer for Back to the Future 3. But it was coming out the next year. But again, it got you into that hype, into that zone. And I think I agree with you guys both that, like, Infinity War, Endgame's trailer to me was Infinity War. With the way it ended, everybody going dusty in a way. They all went to dust. It ends with Thanos smiling with the sun, watching the sunset. I was like, bring on Endgame. Like, yeah, I was excited for the trailers to drop as well. But Endgame's trailer to me was Infinity War. They did such a great cliffhanger. I mean, you knew, like, yeah, I heard some little kids crying in the theater as well. And it was kind of funny, but I was just like, wow, this was pretty epic. What did I just witness? And if Infinity War was this good, how great can Endgame be? JJ, what you got, my friend?
I think you guys touched on a great point there when you were talking about Men in Black. And I feel like it can kind of, maybe spiral a little bit in this conversation. But the music videos for the movies that drop before the movies, if we don't get something in the trailer, sometimes those scenes make it to the music videos, and you run the risk of spoiling something from sitting there watching MTV, back in my day when they actually played fucking music videos.
Yeah, remember those days?
And it wasn't 23 hours. And it wasn't 23 hours of reality shows, and then TRL was the only music videos you got.
Right.
And that doesn't even exist anymore, to Gino's point. But like, you think about, and especially back in the 90s, man, the soundtracks to the movies were almost as big as the movies, and so you get those music videos with the clips chopped up.
Or just the soundtrack itself. Yeah, you're right.
to try to hype people, well, maybe you didn't catch the trailer because you haven't been to the theaters in a long time, but you're sitting here watching this music video channel. And so here's, Till I Hear It From You from Empire Records. And here's a bunch of scenes from Empire Records in the music video with the Gin Blossoms. Come and check out this movie that's opening in a month at your local multiplex with Liv Tyler. You know what I mean?
Yes,
it's like,
yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, that's a dying art, the music videos. I mean, we're from the, well, me and JJ, I guess, are from the era of MTV. I remember in the mid 90s, like everybody, again, being the Batman nerd, I was just into all the Batman movies, and I went to probably with Sam Goody. Google it, kids. I went to Sam Goody and I bought Seal's Kiss from a Rose. Why? Because Batman was in the video.
Look, say what you will about Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, two of the best soundtracks of the 90s. Don't at me.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah,
you can say what you want about the movies, but those soundtracks are fire.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Smashing Pumpkins, I think, were in Batman and Robin. Not to sidetrack or anything, but
Harmony.
When Tugs and Harmony were in there. Yeah, I understand why Batman and Robin is what it is. So Joe Schumacher has my sympathy on it. Gino, you got your hand up. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'm really glad you brought up soundtracks, and it's going to tie into Star Wars perfectly. 2 weeks before The Phantom Menace, Star Wars was coming back to theaters. Star Wars was back, baby. And 2 weeks prior, they released the soundtrack. And one of those tracks, say what you want about the songs, one of them is entitled Qui-Gon's Noble End. They literally spoil that the main character dies in the movie in the soundtrack. Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Also,
okay.
And I looked up just a few more to find. In The Sixth Sense, they have Malcolm is Dead as a soundtrack title. Are you kidding me? Save it for after the movie comes out if that's what you're fixing to do. And then you can talk about spoilers with Lego sets, with the Hulkbuster from Avengers.
Hot Toys. Hot Toys spoils a lot.
Because I get it. These things have to be made and put into production like a year and a half out to get them ready for release when the movie's coming out. So, like, I get how that happens, but don't show me the Hulkbuster armor friggin' a year before it comes out, because that would have been really cool to see for the first time in the theater. But, like, literally, like, Qui-Gon's Noble End, like, there need to be full-on psychological studies about how detrimentally awful that decision-making process was. And I know we're not talking about trailers. We're kind of talking about spoilers right now, but
yeah,
that is like crazy stuff. And one of the things, I went into John Wick 3 weeks early because I got an advanced screening of it. I had no idea what it was about. I had no idea what I was expecting. I was really big into movies, so I was just like, I get to go to a free movie. Okay. And fucking sorry, Aaron. I'm sitting down in the theater, packed house, didn't pay any money for it. I hadn't watched a single trailer. The buddy I decided to take with me goes, yeah, so you know the dog dies, right? I didn't watch any of the trailers, and I guess it's in the trailer. I still haven't seen the trailer to that movie. But did that take away from my enjoyment of the movie? Absolutely not. Not even one bit. Did it piss me off for the first 5-10 minutes until it happened? Yeah, it did. When I first saw John Wick, I was like, what the hell am I watching? This artsy fartsy sad music, we're going to show putting the collar down on the thing. And I am so glad I just sat there and gave it a chance, which is one of the best reasons to watch a movie in the theater, because you don't get the opportunity to really go on your phone or decide to stop watching it. You watch it all the way through, and then when it's done, you can pass your judgment. And they paid all that off. He put it back down, and then it was bloody. Like, all of those things. But I was like, for the first 10 minutes, I'm like, what the hell is this? Thank goodness they showed, like, which I disagree with, but, like, they showed him, like, rolling to a stop. Which, by the way, what is up with movies showing the end scene of the movie to start the movie? Because they don't think the movie's good enough on its own to draw you in the first 10 minutes. So let's show you. I mean, it's one thing to start off with an action scene that sets up the movie, like Captain America Civil War. But to show John Wick already alive at the end of the movie, to start the movie, bloodied and whatever, it's like, did it take it away from my enjoyment of the movie? No, it's still one of my favorite movies of all time. But I questioned that decision making and all of those things because they knew they were going to give us a little artsiness for the first 10 minutes. But that led to the payoff because you need to build up to your audience that this man is going to take a bunch of human lives and we are here for it. And that was, I could gush. We could do a whole episode talking about how great John Wick is. But like those types of things where they're spoiling the movie within the movie, it's like, I don't know if I'm super on board with that. But yeah, I really wish I could remember a few more of those scenes in trailers that make a point to tell you this is going to happen in the movie, but then the movie dilly-dallies and takes its time to get there just to reveal it. Oh, shock. Oh, I mean, not really. I've been kind of waiting for you to get to that point so we could actually like move forward with the movie, but whatever.
You take it with what you get. Yeah, that's one thing also about trailers where you'll get a good, speaking of soundtracks, you'll hear a good piece of the soundtrack. I remember, again, back to Avengers trailer, they had some just generic music on there. Then after Avengers 1 came out, the Avengers theme, dun, 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 that became part of the trailers. As they kept going on, they got more epic, and now you hear it in Doomsday. Now it's like, it's gritty. It's like, dun, dun, dun. It's just, it's progressed. It's, I guess, evolved as the movie goes on. Like the first Avenger, it's like, yay, Avengers, dun, 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 dun. Then, Age of Ultron. Then Infinity War, now Endgame, and now Doomsday. The theme song of, I guess, let's call it the Avengers theme song, progresses as the movie gets told. And back to Batman, Batman 89 had the awesome Danny Elfman theme, ditto for Returns. But then come Forever and Robin, it's like, oh, okay, like we said, Bone Thugs and Harmony is in it, Seal is in it, U2 is in it. Now you're like, oh, wow, the soundtrack can pump up your experience watching the trailer, because it did for me for forever. Once I heard U2 on there, I'm like, okay, it's going. But then here comes Seal, and it's like, this movie has a kick-ass soundtrack. I need to go see this movie. But sometimes the trailer is the one that introduces that music. So it's just funny how it goes back to what we've all been saying. It's the marketing, it's the business side. Hopefully every side works with each other, where they just don't show too much, or they just show enough for it. So yeah, Gino, you had your hand up.
Yeah, so going back to, do trailers show too much? The first Avengers movie, it showed that massively amazing hero shot of them, of the camera rotating around them, and they're all together. Like you could consider that a massive spoiler, but at the end of the day, that's what we came to see, was them assemble, right? And the movie delivered on that. It was epic in the movie. And then it was even more epic when, right before that, when he said, that's my secret cap, I'm always angry. And then Hulk's out real quick. And then after that, he's like, Hulk smash. Like, that's how you take apart from your trailer and then like build upon the epicness of that. And speaking of songs in trailers, Gladiator 2, anybody? They played a modern Jay-Z song about the Coliseum doors or whatever. So stupid. This movie is supposed to take place in ancient Rome, and your trailer has a freaking modern rap song for it. Like, they could not have missed the mark more with that at all. And I'm so glad that song wasn't in the movie. And then they fixed it moving forward, but like the first full trailer, like that's like your first taste. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. And then when you mentioned the Avengers theme songs, right? They didn't even really have it in Age of Ultron, like, at all. And I'm like, no, what are we doing here? Like, and that movie gets better with age. I really wasn't the biggest fan of it when I watched it, because I knew, this was actually supposed to be Captain Marvel. Instead, we got Rhodey. This was supposed to be Captain Marvel. Instead, it was Scarlet Witch. Like, so like there were things like, show them what we got, and it's just Rhodey. Like, we already know that Rhodey exists. He's just Iron Man with a machine gun on his back. If that was Captain Marvel coming out of the SHIELD helicarrier, which they had brought up off mothballs with some friends based on watching the first season of Agents of SHIELD, Like that would have been so much more epic. And, you know, say what you want about the character and her movie and a half, because I don't really consider that the sequel to Captain Marvel, because it really wasn't her movie, which is kind of super unfair to her. But all things considered, like when you know too much about the movie going into, because I was like, I wanted to know everything about it. I need to know all the spoilers, what all the comic books storylines they're based on. Now, if you go into a movie, oh, this is what the comic is based on, and you're disappointed because they didn't do Civil War exactly like the comic book, like that's ridiculous. They can't. Spider-Man can't exist for the first time in this movie and then reveal his identity. It just can't happen, which is the big scene from the comic book. He revealed his identity, and that was like taking sides and doing the whole split. So you can take the source material and adapt it just like a book, just like anything. But when it comes to the trailers, like it's, again, when they're setting things up and the payoff isn't as great and it underwhelms the movie because you've seen the trailer, like, you know, Captain America takes Thor's hammer, right? Like imagine if they had shown Captain America lifting a hammer in the trailer. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? You know, those types of things where it's like, they have to know better with some of that aspect. Like, and we mentioned Avengers Endgame. Like, this is really just kind of talking about big blockbuster trailers, but the Avengers Endgame trailer was Tony recording his, what would eventually
his monologue,
be his death thing to his daughter and stuff like that. And we all suspected he was probably going to die at the end of that movie based on the trailer, but they didn't show him going, I am Iron Man, snap. Like, that would have been crazy. MIB levels of, what are we doing? But Men in Black, it was the first movie in a series and needed to get people in the door. We got this epic shot. We spent a bunch of money on it. Let's put it in the trailer. But the movie on its own leading up to that, it built to that, yes, but it was fun on its own before that. And if you're just building to something that's already revealed in the trailer, again, Red Hulk, like we knew he was coming and he didn't come to the third act, and it was treated as a big shock and surprise. Like the whole plot of the movie was, he's taking this medicine to control some type of radiation, and they don't even reveal that it's gamma radiation until later. It's like, obviously that's what it's going to be. Why bring this character back to recast him, to have him play the president of a character that passed away? The actor passed away, rest in peace, William Hurt. But like you're not going to bring him back and not do Red Hulk. So why make the whole movie like build, like if we know more on like this storytelling things, like sometimes the audience knows more than the characters and they find out along the way. But like we knew where that was going from the moment the movie started, and it took until like 20 minutes left in the movie to get there. And it's like, well, I don't know if that's the best choice. Now, granted, that had to be rewritten and all that stuff. So do I give it sort of a pass? I guess. Would that movie have made no money if they didn't show Red Hulk? Probably wouldn't have made like any money.
As much as it did,
Right. And it only made like $140 something million. And to that point about the Doomsday, bringing it all back home, Marvel has still been on shaky ground since Endgame. It's had some big hits. It's had some big misses. And all the TV shows and all the other stuff. So, yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine was great. But it isn't really Marvel. It is, but it isn't. And we'll see what happens. I see that's why wear your shirt. But like Captain America 4, not that special. Thunderbolts I thought was really good. Didn't make a lot of money. Shang-Chi was really good. Kind of came out during the COVID time. So I give it a pass for the lack of money it made. I thought it was a really good movie. Eternals, I don't even know what the point of that movie was other than to get Jon Snow and Robb Stark fighting over a girl named Cersei. Like, that was like literally the whole conceit of the movie. What if we get this guy and this guy, we fight over somebody that they were supposed to be hating in the TV show that they're all from? Bunch of bull crap. They never brought him back. They had this big hulking celestial appear before Earth. You will be judged. Never mentioned again, by the way. Like, those types of things are, so Marvel has to be building itself. Wonder Man was great. Daredevil was great. Like, these things that they've been kind of back on a roll. Obviously, Spider-Man has been great, but Spider-Man's still Sony.
Oh, yeah.
Even though Marvel uses him, it's still Sony. So Marvel has to get back to doing Marvel things. And I can think of no better way than to hype us up to get Marvel is back, baby. Doomsday, Avengers with the music. And then the next movie, another Avengers movie. We got 2 Avengers movies back to back. No Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. No Ant-Man and the Wasp soiling themselves in between Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. Captain Marvel, they really made it seem like she was going to be a big deal and super necessary. And yes, she had a decent part to play in Endgame with what she did, but like, you didn't necessarily need that. It wasn't really the best movie, and the needle drops with the songs that were, oh, I'm just a girl, blah, 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 blah. Like, all that stuff was kind of underwhelming. But at the end of the day, like you said, we're going to go to this movie regardless of what the trailers are showing us. And I just don't want them to show me too much. It's cool to see Shang-Chi. It's cool to see these people that I want to see back. They're confirming to me that stuff that I want to see is what I'm going to see. Because if they hid them again, and I'm a little mad at the Spider-Man trailer because I didn't know we were going to get Savage Hulk back again. And once as soon as I was watching a trailer and I saw that scene, I was like, no. And like I ran out of the room. I was like, no.
Turn off.
And I knew it was coming. But when I'm watching the movie, I'm kind of forgetting that I had seen the trailer. Like before it starts, I'm sitting there, I'm thinking about all the stuff I know going in. But once a good movie makes you forget all about that and just enjoy the ride. And Spider-Man did that in spades. And when he did show up, I was like, this is awesome. We finally, basically ever since Thanos kicked his ass, we actually have Hulk back. And I could not be more excited to see this, even though I don't think he's going to be in Doomsday from what I understand, which is depressing. And I don't think Spider-Man's going to be in Doomsday either. So we'll have to see. That's probably a Secret Wars thing from what they did Chair Watch, right? They showed all the names. There's no Mark Ruffalo, ain't no Tom Holland, ain't no Ryan
Tom
Reynolds.
Holland, no.
Yeah, no Hugh Jackman.
For
now.
For
he
now.
did that thing at Comic-Con. He's like, you got any room in the movie for me?
That was funny. Yeah.
And then Hugh did his whole Instagram thing where he's like, I would like to come back if you'll have me for Doomsday. Like, I thought this all was going to lead to more stuff in Secret Wars, but they might throw some stuff, extra scenes in Doomsday. But is that good to just throw scenes in after you've already made a good movie? And I'm just going to put another scene of some characters out of context and whatever. Like, I don't know. So we'll have to see it. I do expect Marvel to fire on all cylinders. Bob Iger was overseeing the production of this, not Bob Chapek, who was like, let's just pump stuff out as fast as we can because these stupid marks are going to go see everything we put out. And no, he's like, no, we need to make good stuff. We need to make The Incredibles 3. We need to make movies that people want to see and sequels to stuff that people give a shit about.
Another Frozen.
Dude. Frozen makes billions of dollars
every
time.
I know I shouldn't talk.
and that finances original movies like Hoppers, which was really good, right? But you can't make a Hoppers without an Incredibles 2, an Incredibles 3, which is coming. You have a Moana 2, which made $1 bajillion and all that
Story
stuff.
13.
If they got a good idea for the movies, then show it to me. Don't just make it to make it. If you got a good idea, then I'm okay with you greenlighting a movie. Unlike what James Gunn did with Supergirl, where it's like, we're going to do airtight scripts. That script was one of the worst scripts to a movie I've ever seen. And Supergirl's one of my favorite characters. And because you probably heard that it's literally the definition of mid, 5 out of 10. Nothing is memorable about it. It's the writing is just piss poor. The movie could have ended in 5 minutes. You ever seen the YouTube how it could have ended? Like literally the movie could have ended. The villain of the movie could have ended 5 minutes in. But the writers didn't seem to know what they were doing with that.
I heard Jason. It's a Bret Hart special, 4 out of 10.
There you go. I heard Jason Momoa is good in it though. I heard Jason Momoa is good in the movie.
He's great because he was born to play that character. But
yeah, that's what everybody said.
He's really, he's not really in the movie. He's like on the outskirts of the movie, if that makes sense. And when you see,
that's what I heard. Yeah.
But the ending of the movie is this whole speech about don't do this. It won't change anything. And the person saying that then just does that thing. And then it changes everything for them. And it's like, you just told this person that doing that thing won't fix anything. And it fixed all your problems when you did it. It's like, what are we talking about, man? But we were kind of losing the plot on that. But that's,
it seems like DC movies lose the plot a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately. Some of it is the management's fault, like AT&T, when they're like, let's just put out Justice League as quickly as possible so we can make our November 4th quarter earnings and get our bonuses. Like Batman v Superman, not making $1 billion, everybody deserves to be in jail for that. How dare you have a movie with Batman and Superman in the title card, and that movie doesn't make $1 billion? For shame. Sorry,
and I loved Batman.
No, you're absolutely right.
I did too, but the extended cut was way better.
Agreed.
Sorry, I didn't like it.
And I get that. We should have loved it. You're one of Batman's biggest fans. There should be nothing that character can exist in that you don't love. And that wasn't Zack Snyder's fault. That wasn't the actors and actresses' fault. That wasn't Wonder Woman's fault. It was how they butchered my boy Doomsday, actual Doomsday, and how they rushed the movie out just to compete with Civil War. And it was basically beat for beat Civil War, and we just had that a few months earlier. But I get it, like you can't always do that. You have movies, Friends with Benefits, and things like that.
I am not a fan of Batfleck. I'm sorry. I do not like Ben Affleck.
The warehouse scene in Batman v Superman is the only true comic.
It was a good scene.
Batman
it looked like
on screen.
It looked like an Arkham video game. That scene. I'll give you that. That's true. That is true.
I enjoyed Batfleck, but maybe that's also because George Clooney still exists.
I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna say I love that little cameo. That was awesome.
Yeah, in the Flash. That was good. I totally
had me laughing.
Mind blown by that, but yeah, I didn't mind Affleck as Batman. Like
I liked him.
Was he as good as Michael Keaton, Christian
Bale,
and Adam West? No. Was he better than Val Kilmer, George Clooney? Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on how much you like him, Robert Pattinson. Now, I think Pattinson did a decent job as
He did great. He did a good. I kept my mouth shut on him.
Twilight stigma on him, so
See, my thing with Robert Pattinson is again going back to showing my age, when they casted Michael Keaton as Batman, the world had a big titty attack.
Yeah,
exactly. So
when I was doing Ledger, they were like,
so I was doing the exact same thing to Robert Pattinson, what others did to Keaton. And I went, whoa. I need to shush it. I need to see, again, talking about trailers. They're like, we're going to release they called it the red teaser, I think they called. I'm like, okay, whatever. It was just the red screen. And then Pattinson just walks into frame in the suit. I'm like, okay, the suit looks cool. The voice is all right. But then I went, all right, and again, don't judge a movie by its trailer, but I'm like, I now need to see a nice trailer. They dropped the trailer. I went, okay. Good trailer, but now here we go. I went into the theater. First of all, 3 hours. That's fine. That's cool.
The movie's 20 minutes too long. It just is.
Yeah, I'll give you that. About half hour too long, yeah. Saw the movie, went to the theater, beginning to end. I went, he did good. Robert Pattinson did a good
Batman,
job.
He did great. I wouldn't want him as my year 10 Batman or my year 13 Batman yet. He can grow into that, but he's been doing everything in his power to get rid of that Twilight stigma. He's doing the Christopher Nolan stuff, Tenet, and the Odyssey. People want to work with this guy because he is a phenomenal actor. He's not just
he is, yeah.
And that's fair. And I didn't mind him as Batman, but I would put Affleck above him is basically what I said.
But we had him as 15, 20. We basically had him as Dark Knight Returns Batman, was what Affleck was playing.
I would put Affleck in the middle of the Batman. At the top tier, you've got Bale, you've got West, you've got Keaton.
And Will Arnett. Do not sleep on Will Arnett's Batman.
Definitely.
And Kevin Conroy. If we're putting, if Will Arnett is in there, Kevin Conroy has to be in there too.
Y'all.
Okay.
Because everybody's like Jack Nicholson. Everyone's Heath Ledger, and then people are like, wait a minute, Luke Skywalker too. It's like, yeah, you're right. I mean, the animated Joker.
Action.
Yeah, real fast, a shout out to C-Rod, Chris Rodriguez. Last night when we were talking about the Batman trilogy, I went through my DVDs, and I could not believe I actually owned this. So C-Rod, if you're watching, I actually own Iron Man 3 on DVD. This is an inside joke between us and C-Rod. He thinks this is the greatest Marvel movie next to Infinity War, I think, but C-Rod, yes, I own Iron Man 3. Oh, true, yeah. So, but yeah, so So the whole thing is trailers. They're here to stay. Again, I just hope the studios, or like Gino put it, like the people that are in charge of making the trailers know what they're doing. Hopefully not too much. Hopefully not too little. It just hypes us up. But again, though, so whatever movies are coming out, enjoy them. Enjoy the trailers. Again, Spider-Man did it for me to get me hyped up for Doomsday. But on that note, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on. So real quick, our plugs. JJ, where can find you on this thing known as the internet?
You can find me on Instagram at the Renegade JJ Williams, on YouTube at Casa D18 Studios. Follow the Simply Reliable Studios on X at SR Studios 2024. Bunch of interviews coming up the next couple of weeks, like 6 interviews or something lined up.
Awesome.
So be on the lookout for all that content.
Cool. All right. Thank you, JJ, for being here. Papa Gino, a handsome devil himself. Where can find you?
Well, you can probably find me at a movie theater in the Tampa Bay area, but yeah, on YouTube, just Papa Gino.
He will sign autographs, folks. Ask him for an autograph before the movie.
If somebody comes up to me and recognizes me from this, bro, I would be elated. Please, I welcome that. Catch me on Papa Gino 0017, Aaron Riff's personal channel, moderating or being a panelist on the No DQ Review Tuesdays at 7, and here on Oofman's channel. And I've also been a part of Simply Reliable stuff and the Casa D18 Studios. And yeah, just check us out everywhere. Thank you guys so much for having me here and allowing me to rant again on stuff that I love, even though it sounds like I might not love it when I'm ranting, but it's super awesome. Thank you, man.
No, we're all fans, movie fans, wrestling fans, comic fans, music fans. We're all fans and all that. And this show is just here to show that love for it. That's the cool thing about it. And again, a monster shout out to the boss, Aaron Riff, for letting me stream on his channel as well. He's the one that got us all together. So thank you to the boss, Aaron Riff. So again, check out more videos here on Gabbin with Oofman Entertainment channel. More videos to come. We'll go back to pop culture, movie reviews. We'll try to do movie reviews. Hopefully try to get a Spider-Man movie review going with everybody once. If we have enough people who saw it, we can gab about that. But for JJ, for Papa Gino, for myself and everybody here at Oofman Entertainment, thank you all so much. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and of course, take care of yourself, everybody around you, and God bless you all, and check out the movies and enjoy the movies when you go see them. So good night, everybody.